All right. Hey guys, Ben here. Welcome back to another video. My timer literally just completely glitched on me, so I don't know if I was just staring at the screen for 2 seconds then. But welcome back. We got Late Verse here, aka Flash Verse. The man.
This time we're both
himself.
late. We're
Yeah,
both
this
late this
we're
time.
both late. We're delayed by 12 minutes. But yeah, welcome to everyone that is joining. We are doing a live stream today. We haven't streamed it about 2 weeks, and obviously we've got Flashverse here today to talk about what we can talk about. There is various pieces of news here and there, but really nothing too much. We were discussing this before the live stream. It's like, right now things are kind of up in the air in terms of like when Superman Lois is coming back. Obviously, that's going to be a main topic of today's video. We're going to talk about that and a lot more because, yeah, there is stuff to talk about. But yeah, so if you do want to be featured on live stream and if you want to support the channel, please be sure to send in super chats and we'll be sure to answer you guys by popping up your question on stream, just like this. Hi, Nathan. Welcome. I also see Marvel Fan is here. Darren is here. And yeah, so welcome to everyone joining. Like I said, we have topics to talk about today. We have like 5 topics or so. But we've like kind of briefly touched on some of this in like previous videos that I've made over the last couple of weeks. So I'm not going to go like into too much detail, but I want to get Flash versus take on a lot of this and your take in the chat because obviously some of this is very interesting. But yeah, like I said, send in super chats if you want to be featured on the live stream and to support the channel. That's the best way to do so. So yeah, how's things going, Flash first?
Things could be better. I just came out of retirement, so we're back with the uploads.
Yeah.
So that's good. I was gonna have a productive day today, but I ended up watching Mission Impossible, so I didn't
That is a
upload
good
anything.
film. That is a good
It
film. The
was
new
very, very
film.
good. Very, very good. Yeah, I
I,
loved it.
I,
I
wa-
loved it a lot.
I watched it like a week and a bit ago. I really liked it. I thought it was really cool. Maybe 2 weeks ago, actually. Yeah. Anyway, obviously we got. Oh, actually, I've got something very exciting. I don't think I can tell you guys, but there's a certain film coming out in the next month that I'm going to be seeing early. I'll tell Flash first
Ooh.
after. Can't really spoil it to you guys.
Haha,
But a
exclusive.
certain film. And yeah, I just wanted to say one more thing. The new merchandise is out, and thank you to everyone that has been buying it. I see Nathan says he's going to buy some merch on Friday. The link is in the chat if you guys want to go check it out. The new designs, and yeah, they're very comfy. I've been wearing them all the time. I kind of feel bad wearing it because I'm not like saying it to like self promote myself. It's just like genuinely comfy. You don't have much, so I guess you don't have that yet, but it just feels a bit funny sometimes when people are like, oh, that's your YouTube channel, right? I'm like,
I have your merch, and I can confirm it is very good.
yeah, thank you. Well, there you go. Okay, link is in the chat, but let's go ahead and get into today's first topic. And for those of you guys in the chat, just like chime in what you think about all of this. Okay, so we've got the big strikes. That is something that has been going on for, well, quite a few months in terms of the writers. Obviously, not all of you guys are going to be absolutely up to date. I'm not going to presume that you're all up to date. So I'm going to give you a brief rundown of what's been going on. So the writers' strike has been going on for a long time. And I'm going to be telling you guys why this impacts the DCTV shows, aka just Superman and Lois, right? And obviously the DCEU as well, because they're all involved. So the Writers Guild of America is a guild, and that basically means all the writers in Hollywood, even if they film in Vancouver or they write in Vancouver, but I think most of them write in LA, so it doesn't apply. Basically, those guys, including, I believe, Todd Helbing, the showrunner of Superman and Lois, is probably a part of WGA. He won't be able to start Superman Lois season 4, so they can't start writing at all. Yeah, they can have ideas in his head and stuff, but they haven't even started. So this is where the kind of theories come in terms of when Superman Lois season 4 is going to happen, because normally you would presume, season 4 would happen, I guess, like January, February, March. Like normally it's a mid-season show. However, with the strikes, With the Writers Guild, that's been going on for many months now. Now, the actors just started striking. That is SAG. I'm sure you guys have heard about them. And that is an even bigger deal because now both of them are doing it. So if you don't have writers and you don't have actors, how are you going to make a TV show? How are you going to make films, right? So with all of this, basically the question is, how will this impact DC? And I think the simple answer is things are going to be delayed. And Superman Lois season 4, don't expect it soon. Flashverse, you got any thoughts and opinions on this, like in terms of when Superman Lois is coming?
See, in regards to the strikes, I wasn't really too familiar about what was going on. I did a bit of reading up yesterday, and there are some stuff which I read about SAG, which they asked for, and they got rejected. I was quite shocked with some of them.
I mean, some of it is like very simple ask. Like, I don't think they're asking too much. And you guys have to remember in the context of this, this isn't like the most well-paid actor striking. Like Tom Cruise isn't the one going out being like, "Give me more money." It's like, I believe there's a stat out there. It's like 80% of the Actors Guild are just background actors, and they don't even earn enough because you guys know in America they don't get health insurance for free or anything like in the UK. And so half of them don't even earn enough to do that. So they don't even earn the minimum wage. So that's like 80% of them. So that's the reason. But yeah, continue. So
there are a couple of things I read up on. For example, there was this they asked for a new media revenue sharing where cast share in the revenue generated when their performances are exhibited on streaming platforms. This would allow cast to share in the success of high performing shows that got rejected. And then they asked for meal breaks. And this one I was pretty shocked by, but they pretty much said increase the penalties for not providing meal breaks, which have not been updated since 1961.
That's old. Yeah. It's like, so basically with them rejecting that, that's them saying, work hard. We don't care if you don't have a break, right?
Yeah.
And I know for a fact, working on film sets, that waking up at 7 a.m., 6 a.m. in the morning, coming back at 8, 9 p.m. in the evening, it's exhausting. And so I think it's totally reasonable to ask for it. But, like I said, this is in the context of, these heads. So who they're negotiating with is the heads of the studios. So that's like David Zaslav, the head of Netflix, blah, blah, blah. Like all of them are members of this organization that kind of controls things. And basically they're all uber rich and they just are fine like throwing away money on their projects, but they're not fine on like increasing like the bare minimum. So yeah. Anyway, do you have anything else, Flashverse?
And there's this one as well. Late payment, increased liquidated damages due to unacceptable trend of irregularly late payments. That one I saw as well.
Yeah, that was interesting because, that's about late payment. So that's actually a big problem. I believe actually when they go into production, they sign contracts because if you're a union member, but if you're like, for example, me, I'm not a member of any kind of union, right, as a filmmaker, but there is a real problem if you are like that because there is no like actual deadline. You say, okay, pay me within 30 days. But most of the time people take the mick, right? So I think that's pretty much what they're talking about.
Yeah, I read up on what Discussing Film said as well about studios losing at least 600 grand per week for these halted productions due to their unwillingness to pay actors as well.
What do you think they're like losing out on? Do you mean like, do you think it's like them renting stuff in advance, like equipment and locations and stuff?
I have no idea, to be completely honest.
Yeah, it's probably like, I reckon it's like, the things that they already pay for. So, and, they pay for the time and they're going to be losing big. And so I think the main big thing here, the only way that this could be sped up and, things could turn out good for TV shows that obviously we are all fans of would be specifically because SAG has been involved, because the actors are involved. And now it's not just writers, like they could continue their productions as long as they could because it was just, they couldn't adapt anything else. But now it's like even more than that. It's like they can't go into production unless the production is like solely independent and not connected to any film studio, because basically the film studios hire from SAG, they hire the big actors, and they're all a member, so they can't physically do it. So yeah, that's kind of what's going on with the strikes. And so in terms of Superman, Lois, in terms of DC, like, yeah, there's going to be a big delay if they don't figure this out. There's a chance they figure out SAG a bit closer, a bit sooner than writers, because I feel like that's just how the studios work, like how these people work. They think, okay, right, like maybe if we go for the actors, maybe the writers will come with us and they'll like put down their guards. But I think it's different this time. Like they need to seriously reconsider the way that they've been doing things in the last however many years, like since the 60s or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's possible Superman Lois season 4 could maybe not happen until like, maybe it'll come out like 2024 fall, so like October. I feel like that's actually kind of optimistic. Like I don't know when it's gonna end. I see someone in the chat, Trekopedia says, wait, SAG Strike will be solved soon. Fran Drescher isn't helping though. She seems to relish this due to wanting attention. Yeah, so I think she is in charge, but you know, that's what you have to do when you're in charge of these unions. You have to be a leader. And so I don't see any problem in, you know, coming out, having like big statements and kind of egging on things, because they need to like really push this. And if they're very pacifistic about it and, you know, they don't push the studios aren't going to do anything. I think that's a fact. All right, let's move on to the next topic. So, guys, once again, if you have any questions, please be sure to send in super chats and share this around online. Obviously, we haven't streamed in a while, so don't expect loads of you guys here. But let's move on to our next topic. So, DCTV potentially moving to other networks and Warner Brothers projects in general, right? Like HBO. So there was reports like 2 weeks ago, I would roughly say, and I just wanted to get your opinion on this, that HBO has started to move TV shows that they own to Netflix, and this is obviously to make money. What do you think about David Zaslav's move to basically sell everything they can to try and make a profit? Like, do you think it's going to impact like the image of DC? You know, because there is like DC on Amazon, there's DC on Netflix now and stuff.
But didn't they always have DC on Netflix as well, mostly? Well, TV shows, those were.
Yeah, but that was like in the past, and then they pretty much committed to going exclusively to their own network, like, you know, Max and stuff like that. And so now it's kind of like a big deal that they are kind of willing to sell their projects and to sell the rights to the characters. Do you think like that will impact, you know, the future of the DCU? Like if you have more and more projects, or do you think it's fine?
Could possibly go both ways, I would say. Thing is, with them selling certain rights to characters to Netflix, like they've done like lesser known characters before. For example, Lucifer is one of them.
Oh yeah.
And you know, I mean,
That
Lucifer through Netflix, it worked. It became a really, really popular show. And same goes for Sandman, I believe, though I don't know what happened to that show afterwards. So if they do it to like lesser known characters like that, I doubt it will be that big of a deal, and it could go well. However, I don't know. I don't know if they would do it with bigger characters. That's what I would say.
Yeah. No, that's fair enough. I feel like for now they're just like going animation. Like there's a couple Batman projects at Amazon. There's the new Greg Berlanti show, Dead Boy Detectives, which is DC, but that's like Sandman related, so that kind of makes sense. That's going to Netflix. Okay, let's move on to the next project. Next thing that I want to talk about. Okay, so this is interesting. I'm going to pop it up on the screen. Actually, yeah, okay. I'll pop it up on the screen because why not? It's about the Flash TV show. So we're finally going back to it. Obviously, we haven't had the
So
Flash in a while, but when there's something interesting, we'll bring it up for sure. So I'm on a Reddit page. I'm sure some of you guys saw this, whether it's my video or other videos out there. One of the Flash designers from one of the costume shops that make the superhero suits basically did like an Ask Me Anything on Reddit. And wait, first things first, Flashes, did you actually see this? And
yeah,
guys
I
in the
did.
chat, did
I
you see
did.
it?
When you sent it to me, yeah, I did. I saw it.
Okay. And what do you think about it? Like, obviously, he's answering some questions, and some of them are like pretty basic answers. But let's look at this one specifically because
I think
your
yeah, that was
fellow,
the one. I'm
yeah,
like,
this is
oh,
the
that's so
one.
cool.
Was there any discussion about creating a new suit for Wally West, maybe even a red Flash suit with the silver emblem and lightning bolt? Justin says, yes, we were gearing up for a new Wally, and I was hoping for the silver New 52 version. It was to follow the same style lines as Grant's, just in new colors. Unfortunately, production didn't want to explore it after all, and Keenan just used his old one for his final two appearances. Big regret there. What's your thoughts? Would you have liked to see this silver Wally West?
It would have been really cool, especially with like with us seeing how Wally grew as a character throughout the
Mm,
show and like how much more experience he's become with the Speed Force and something like that. Just seeing a new suit, like him wearing a new suit, would further, I guess, show how far he's come as well.
yeah.
So I do definitely think Kid Flash was one of those characters that did really need a new suit. Oh, and yeah,
Hmm.
that looks really cool though. That looks
It,
really,
it
really
looks
cool.
really cool. I mean,
Yeah.
this is obviously just his suit with the change,
Yeah.
but imagine they, made it more like this. Like, yeah, I agree. I feel Kid Flash is one character that needed a suit upgrade at one point, and he never really got that suit upgrade. And, it's a shame because I think he's a good character. He obviously went off to Legends of Tomorrow, and then he didn't show up in the Flash for a long time. So I understand that maybe there wasn't the budget because, another topic that I wanted to bring up was the price of these suits. It's between like $8,000 to $50,000 for a suit, right?
Crazy.
Like
Crazy.
that is pretty crazy, right? You think, okay, you have to pay a whole film crew, you have to pay the actors, you have to pay for VFX, you have to pay for everything on top of that, and it's like racks up and racks up and racks up, and then you have to be like, okay, for 1-2 episodes, let's bring back Wally West and make a new suit. Do you think it was just like maybe too expensive for the amount of time he was gonna show up?
Most probably because it would only be like one appearance. Therefore, there wouldn't really be a point in doing it. But again, there were times where like characters wore a suit once and then they just threw it away.
That's true. That's true. Like
Like I
accelerating
def
man. That's
exactly.
really cheap, I feel.
And like a negative reverse flash, for example, that's another suit he used once and they just threw it away. Trying to think of others,
Hmm.
but I can't really remember.
Yeah.
However, I would say like regardless of like budget or stuff like that, I would say Kid Flash was definitely someone that did need a new suit. Like the yellow suit, like it was a perfect suit for him, yes, but I feel like it's like he wore it as like a newbie speedster. The more he grew, I do definitely think that he did need that new suit. And it also depends when they were trying to bring in this suit as well. Like if it was
He said it
just
was
for that,
like the last 2 episodes.
but he was
Last
only
two
in one
appearance.
episode in season 9.
In okay, so it's probably just the last appearance, right? I guess
Yes.
just for that one episode.
But again, like if it was for the final season, I would have said you could have just given it your all for the final season, and clearly there was no effort done for the Flash's final season. I'm gonna say that right off the bat. But the, I understand that they didn't go for it at the same time because it was a one time thing.
Hmm.
But
But it's
they
a
should have went
shame
for
because
it.
it would have been
They
cool,
should have
right?
went for it. Yeah.
It would have been really cool. Um, yeah, I think the silver costume would have been something like really cool. Like we haven't seen a suit like that really. Obviously, we've seen many suits on the Flash, but yeah, this is quite unique. I like what they did in the comics. Okay, and there was just one other thing that I wanted to bring up in regards to this. So there was, you remember a while ago there was a Grant Gustin in a black Flash suit.
Yeah, but that was already said that it was good. It was like a taster suit for the
Yeah,
season 5 suit, right?
yeah, it was like a tester.
Yeah.
So what do you think about it? Like, do you, well, basically in here he just clarifies that yeah, it was just like a tester. I think it would have been pretty cool to see a black suit, even if it's not him. I guess we did have it with negative Reverse Flash, which was pretty cool, but that was more like a kind of helmet suit, like more metallic, right?
Yeah.
I feel like this suit's actually pretty cool. Like when you
It
look at
is
it,
really cool, but like you have to consider when he puts the cowl on, would it really be
would he look
any
that
better?
cool?
Because it
Yeah.
was the season 5 suit, right? That
Mhm.
that
Yeah, it
whole
looks like.
design as well.
Yeah. Anyway, that would have been interesting if we got that. Let's just say that.
I would have said as well in regards to what we were talking about previously with Wally West, another suit that was used for only like the last 20 minutes or just 20 minutes of the show was the cobalt blue suit. So they could have done it. I would have said they could have done it. I don't think Eric Wallace wanted to explore it though.
Yeah. I feel like Cobalt Blue they had to have a suit. Like that's a bit more necessary than Wally. But
Definitely,
yeah,
though, yeah.
maybe there was other priorities. I think that's definitely just the case here. Okay, so moving on to our next topic. And for those of you guys who are with us live, please be sure to comment any theories or any questions you want to ask us, and we'll be sure to answer it. You can send it in normal chat or you can send it via super chats. But yeah, okay, let's move on. So we have The Flash, which is out on digital, so that means it's out online. I think in America as well as England. And so we've got a bunch of deleted scenes that came out online. I don't know if you saw any. Did you get to catch any?
Nope.
So
Not really.
basically, there was a couple of scenes. Like there's
I
one
saw the one
scene.
with Supergirl,
Yeah. There was
the
one
pod.
scene with Supergirl's pod. Did you see that?
Yeah, that's the one I saw.
Yeah. So with that, I thought it was interesting. Like, what do you guys think about that? Did you like seeing Supergirl's pod? Like, I think it would have been something interesting to see in the film because that's not even referenced, like how she got here apart from coming from Krypton. Um, but yeah, that was something that I was like, actually, I would have liked seeing that in the film. Like overall, with the Flash film, now that's been a while. How do you look at it? How do you look at the film?
Could have been better. That's what I'll say. Could have been better. Firstly, going for Flashpoint as the first film, I would say it fell off because I felt like we needed something more. Like we needed more of an emotional impact for Barry before he decides to go through and come into that decision of creating Flashpoint. That's what I would say. So it felt too early to do it because
Mhm.
I wanted to see Barry go through something because we didn't really see Barry go through anything. He's in the DCEU, so I would have wanted him to go through something, and then you have him like you have it all building up, and then eventually goes for a Flashpoint.
Mm. Yeah, I agree. Like, I feel Flashpoint was an interesting story to tackle. It's like one of the best Flash comic books. But yeah, it was definitely very big and maybe wasn't the right choice for, the first Flash film. But
And
that's the way it is. Also, no Reverse Flash. That's a shame.
that I didn't really mind because I
Mm,
did find the villain they went for quite interesting. However, like my biggest issue with the movie, I would
mm,
say,
yeah,
definitely the CGI. I don't care if it was
of course.
intentional, but the CGI had no right to look the way it did.
Yeah, like the
And
CGI was definitely the worst. I completely agree with you.
and now it's gonna sound like biased towards Grant or something like that, but
Yeah.
a lot of the cameos we got were unnecessary and like when you watch the film, you see that it's more so for the older generation, the cameos we saw. Like if you show the kid right now, Adam West Batman, for example, they wouldn't really know who that is. And like every single cameo that showed up, apart from um that weird Jay Garrick character, they're all from for the older generation. I get it, that's very, very cool, but I feel like we needed a mix of like the newer generation of characters and the older one at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
But like the fact that you had like 5 different Supermans cameoing and like no one
Like,
else,
what
I
was the
found that
point,
quite
right?
weird. Exactly.
Yeah, like it's a Flash film. It's not a Superman film. So chill.
Yeah.
And also, there was a report today that apparently the Flash cameo, who we all thought was Teddy Sears as Jay Garrick, was actually an editor from the film. Not an editor, a VFX supervisor. And they were like, okay, we need a Flash. Let's use this guy's face because it's going to be easier to animate. And so they stuck his face on, and that's why it doesn't look like anyone specifically. It's just this VFX guy's face. But I'm pretty sure they merged it with Teddy Sears' face. It's just way too similar to him.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just like a weird thing. Like they just went full on with the CGI when they could have made it so much easier, and they could have saved a lot of money, I think, by just going the simple route. Like they could have reused footage from the Flash, like Titans did
100%.
it. So what's the big deal, right?
You could have even, I would have been happy if they just replayed the scene in Crisis, but like from our Barry, like not our Barry in terms of Grant Gustin, but like
Yeah,
DCEU Barry's perspective. I would
yeah,
have been perfectly fine with them just replaying that
that
scene
would have
because
been great. I would
I
love.
believe it could have worked because like you had him in the Chrono Bowl, he's exploring all of these like different various timelines. He knows about the multiverse stuff like that. So you could have easily had like a Chrono Bowl scene where he ends up in Star Labs and he has the interaction with Grant. Like the when it would have worked, I would have said would have been when he first did it, like before he pops his head. When you had that scene with the floating head,
Yeah,
I would have rather
he
had
should have
Grant.
popped into the Arrowverse. Yeah,
Exactly.
like why not? Why are you going to that specific? I guess it's supposed to be time travel, but you could
I felt
totally get to that.
you know we don't know the reason why Andy Muschietti didn't include Grant or something like that, but in my opinion, I'm gonna say it, but
Mm.
I think they were afraid that Grant would have overshadowed Ezra because he's the more favorable one,
Yeah, do you think?
and I would say so because they had no reason not to. And like the fact that Grant Gustin wasn't even considered being shortlisted by Andy Muschietti, I was shocked. That's why I'm like, there's
Yeah.
definitely a reason behind it, and I don't know. I'm gonna say that.
Also, I don't think Andy's a Flash fan. I think he's a Superman and Batman fan just by looking at the
One
CGI
hundred percent.
cameos.
100%.
So I don't feel like he, as a director, was like, and as a fan, was like, oh yeah, I gotta get the Flash in there. Like, I feel if someone was a comic book fan and someone was a Flash fan, they would get Flash in there. They would get even reverse Flash, like just a flash of Tom Cavanaugh or something, if you're
Yeah.
actual Flash fan, or just John Wesley Shipp or something,
Mm-hmm.
because that's big, right? I mean, as cool as it is to get some of those cameos, like I did like the Nick Cage cameo, but that was pretty much it because all the rest of it was just basically weird CGI cameos. Like it looks weird. Like, and as soon as we saw it, I knew that people would just be memeing on it the whole time. Like the CGI. It's become kind of like a joke. Like people do laugh at it.
Though I would say this though, the
Hmm.
movie definitely did a better Flashpoint than the TV show did.
Yeah, I think they got to spend more time on it. Obviously the TV show was like pretty rushed. Although I feel actually no, I wouldn't. I would say that the film did it pretty good, right? Like I don't think there's too much of a problem with the way that they did Flashpoint, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I agree with you. That's what I'm saying. um. Okay, so yeah, box office, The Flash. Yeah, not it hasn't done well. Like,
Why do you think it hasn't done well?
I don't know specifically. I guess people would like to pin it on Ezra. I don't think it's specifically Ezra. I think I don't know. Like, honestly, maybe it's like just they thought it was gonna be bigger than it was. Do you think if Grant was in it, it would make any difference as the star?
100%. I
I
think it would
feel
have.
like it would definitely make a difference. So I do feel like Ezra has made a difference, but I don't think it's big enough to justify like 250 million less or something like that than what they would have liked, right? Because this film had like 150 million, nearly 200 million dollar budget, like including advertising and all of that. So, you know, it was like really expensive. And so, like, literally 2 days ago, I see on the box office, it made only $100,000. And I know that's a lot to us, but for a film like this, as big as that, on such a big budget, it should be making still
And
like
like,
a
and
decent amount.
literally, the Flash being one of the most popular superheroes in DC as well.
I know. So, where do you think they went wrong?
I'm gonna say Ezra. I'm gonna say went with Ezra, not only because of what they've been up to, like in terms
Mhm.
of the other stuff, but also like I know people that went to the Flash movie and watched it, and when they saw Ezra, they're like, "Who the hell is this?"
Yeah.
Because
Do you
I
think?
know a lot of people that watched the show, The Flash, and I
Mm.
think they expected to see Grant Gustin being. These are like not the biggest DC fans, right? But they've watched the Flash TV show, for example, and
Yeah.
I know a lot of people that know Grant Gustin through the TV show, and like when you think of the Flash, they say Grant Gustin, right? So when they went and watched the film, they're like, "Well, who the hell is this? This guy isn't the Flash."
Hmm.
I know a lot of people that said that, but for me, it comes down to it, what Ezra has done,
Yeah.
and people just not wanting to watch it because of that. I've seen people on Twitter saying that's the reason they don't want to watch the film because it just doesn't feel right. I've seen people
I've
say that.
definitely seen that on Twitter. Yeah.
So I think that definitely does have a huge impact, I would say.
Yeah. No, it's fair enough. Like, I guess I'm not entirely sure. Like, I would have suspected it would have done better, like at least 400 million or something. And
Yeah.
obviously, that is still a fair amount of money, but it's not
Because
that big compared to past DC projects. Obviously, some recent ones haven't been doing well, like Shazam 2 didn't perform well at the box office, too. Like, total, it got 133 million worldwide, which is very low considering it had like $100 million budget as well.
Mhm.
I'm just looking at the box office here. I brought this up before, but like if you look at the top five, it's all 500 million plus, right? It's number one,
Yeah,
Super Mario Bros. 1.3 billion. Like that did amazing.
crazy.
Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is number two, 800 million. Then Fast X, 700. Spider Man Across the Spider Verse, 660, which is insane. Like, that did a lot better than the first Into the Spider Verse. Let me check what that did. Into the Spider Verse box office was 380 million total. This is double.
Crazy.
That's
Crazy.
crazy. Like people love that film. It's so good. And then when you scroll down, you can see The Flash is at number 12. It's at 267 million. And Mission Impossible is right behind it. And it's just come out. It's at 239 million. It's doing really decent or pretty good, it seems like. Let's see where it ends up. But even Indiana Jones beat The Flash, and I'm pretty sure that didn't perform like as expected as well. So I don't know. I feel like people are hyped for certain films right now, and I guess just The Flash wasn't one of them, whether it's Ezra Miller or not. 260 million worldwide. It's
I
not.
guess maybe the reason why it could have been an impact as well, maybe
Mm.
it's because people thought that everything's getting rebooted anyway, so they didn't really see a reason to watch it.
That's another thing that could definitely impact what. what went on with the box office. Like, were they thinking, okay, so they've talked so much about like all of this, like they're gonna reboot the DCU, so why the hell should I go watch the Flash, right? So
Yeah,
that's understandable. But yeah, so Flash didn't do well. I'm really hoping Blue Beetle does well next month.
I hope so.
Obviously, that's a film I'm looking forward to. I love Blue Beetle just like I love the Flash, so we'll see. We got one final topic, and I want to remind you guys, for those of you who are still watching, we are going to be ending the stream like fairly soon. Like I said at the start, we don't have like too many live stream topics to go over. But you can send in super chats if you want to send in any to support the channel and also to get your comment featured on the screen. Plus, also just keep messaging in the chat and we'll be sure to bring it up. So we have a comment here from William who says, I saw the Flash, I liked it. I didn't expect Grant because I knew they were using Ezra from Justice League. Yeah, I think we were all expecting Ezra. I think what Flashverse was saying is it's just like obviously Grant is really good. And with what happened to Ezra, like I feel like a lot of people soured on them. Like that's just not someone that they wanted to see as the Flash. That could
Yeah.
have been, a big impact. I guess we'll never know exactly what the real reason behind it is. But the final topic we have is Aquaman. So Aquaman 2 is coming out in December, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And there was an article that came out just like today, and they said that they've done three reshoot days, like three reshoot segments. That's not just like one day. That's like they've reshot like whole entire scenes, and they had two Batman at one point. There was originally the Michael Keaton Batman, but then they changed it, and then they put Ben Affleck's Batman because he was in the Flash film, and now they've changed it again. They're scrapping Batman, and yeah, that's why they've been doing these extra reshoots. And I don't know how I feel about all this. I feel like, it's meddling. Like, why should we meddle with films? What do you think about it?
But the thing is, I think they have reasons to do it because, as far as I remember, like when they very, 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 very first shot it, I could be wrong, but didn't they have Keaton shot before?
Yeah, they did.
And then a reshoot happened with Affleck, and then because of James Gunn stepping in, now obviously those two are not going to be Batman anymore. So and I don't think they're gonna cast the new Batman anytime soon. I could be wrong.
Well, I think when does it come out? Like a year after Superman Legacy?
Or I would say this: it would feel weird to have Jason Momoa interact with a completely new Batman we've never seen before. I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to leave the new Batman for his movie
That would
rather
make
than have
sense.
him
Yeah.
rather than have him interact with an existing Justice League member. I think that's the reason why.
Yeah, like it just makes sense to let Batman introduce himself by himself,
Yeah.
right? Like why does Aquaman have to do that?
And I guess it also comes with the confusion of the ending of the Flash movie as well, the post-credit scene.
Yeah. With the
Was it the
post-credit
post-credit?
scene, it was just
No,
like
it was
people.
the ending with Clooney.
Oh, the ending. Sorry, why
Yeah,
am I thinking post-credit? Yeah, the ending. People are like, okay, is this our new Batman? And like, clearly it's not though.
yeah,
And so yeah, it was a bit confusing. So I guess they want to kind of avoid that confusion. But in
hmm
terms of Aquaman, like, I don't think it's all to do with that. Like, I think maybe because of the bad test screenings that
that too.
they've had to reshoot some stuff and change it, which I'm quite surprised because James Wan is a really good filmmaker and I really like Aquaman. I thought it was good. So yeah, I'm hoping for a good Aquaman film. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, because
Uh,
early test screenings said it was like really, really bad, right?
yeah, yeah, it didn't test well at all, which is not a good thing. And obviously, studios and filmmakers react very strongly when they get a lot of
Yeah,
criticism, and so yeah. Sorry, guys. With studios, basically, it's kind of hypocritical. Like they're willing to reshoot three times on a film, but they're not willing to pay people, you know, like slightly better. It's just like a weird thing where they have like these double standards. But yeah, that pretty much does it for our main topics today. And welcome Maya to the live stream, literally as it ends. But we're going to be live streaming more and more over the next couple of weeks. Yeah, I'll be around, and I apologize for not doing my live stream last Wednesday. Maybe we'll have another live stream sometime later this week. We also got a members stream pretty soon. So yeah, but in the meantime, please be sure to go check out the recent videos. I know there's not been a lot of news. I know there's not a lot of stuff that is like super breaking news and super interesting. Obviously, we've only got Superman Lois left, and we can talk about the DCU and everything. But yeah, we've been doing our best with coverage, and so go check out. And also, if you want to get the new merch, the link is in the chat. You can go ahead and get it if you want to support the channel. But in the meantime, go check out Flashverse. He's starting to upload again.
Back from retirement. Back
from his retirement, his self-imposed retirement. So yeah,
there's really no excuse for it. I've just been very, very lazy. But
no, I think there's an excuse. Like, not enough news. Like, it's fair enough. Like, we all kind of fall off in the summer. That's just how it goes normally.
It only took me 2 months to do a season 9 review.
Okay, that's pretty long. Yeah, but anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this live stream. Again, we're going to be streaming more. Tune in every week when we do our normal live streams. You can stay up to date by following me on Twitter at the DCTVshow, or on my community tab. I always post when we're going to be streaming and when new videos are coming out, or if we do any like kind of community involved like Q&A videos. That's all on the community tab. So for now, thank you guys for watching. Go get the merch, and I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.
Goodbye.